Yeah, it's time. It's time. Welcome back, man. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. Straight Hoopin podcast. We back in this thing. You got Coach Ant. You got Coach Malcom. Man, I know it's been a minute. It's been close to a year, Coach. We've been busy and tied up with some things with work and basketball seasons and personal things in our personal lives. So, man, but we back at it. So, for all our fans, man, want y'all to know we back. So, like and subscribe. Join us, pay attention to what we got going on. We're gonna give y'all some nuggets, but a couple things, man. We're gonna jump right into it. A couple things we wanted to talk about today, uh, Coach, man. The WNBA, that's a hot topic. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, a lot of them other rookies out here getting bullied and beat up on and choke slammed. And so, I want to ask you, man, is it hate or is that just how rookies are treated?
Man, first I want to just say shout out to the W, man. They doing their thing right now. Everybody talking about them. So that's big time. But nah, man, it ain't hate. It ain't hate. The WNBA ain't about money yet. So it's still about the authentic part of basketball, and that's why you see that in the WNBA more so than the NBA, where they protecting those assets. They ain't doing that just yet in the WNBA. It's all them rookies go through it. Everybody is still a little bit authentic. You know what I mean? So shout out to them for that because it's definitely you see it. I do think they got a target on their back for sure, but it's authentic, man. It's love. It's love. It's just coming in a different form.
Yeah, man. I think the same, and that just goes to when you a ninth grader coming into high school, you deal with the same thing. Them older guys ain't gonna take it easy on you, especially when you supposed to be a guy coming in that can contribute. When you in college and you a freshman, those older guys not gonna take it easy on you because they know you coming in to replace them or possibly take their spot. And it's the same thing in the W right now and everywhere else, man. It's competition. So I agree the same thing. I don't think, it's anything personal. I just think that's just a part of it. And it may be some women in the W that might feel a certain way about, the attention that these young ladies are getting. But for the most part, man, as you know, they did the same thing to Candace Parker. I saw some videos on YouTube of that, and some other WNBA greats. So and I feel the same way, man. I feel like the W is they getting talked about, man. They getting all the pub they want. This rookie class, man, I think is gonna be special and can probably get the W to the popularity that it was back when the Comets was running things with Swoops and Tina Thompson and Cynthia Cooper. And so I look forward to it. And like we talked about before, I take a lot of stuff from the WNBA with the sets they run and some of the plays and things of that nature, because a lot of that stuff is not done in the NBA. NBA more so isolation, pick and
Hmm.
roll, and so the W they really run plays. They have bigs out there on the floor setting good screens. It's a physical game, and so hats off to all those ladies, and hats off to Monica McNutt for standing up for those ladies in the W, man, on first take. I went back and watched that, and it was good to see her speak up for those ladies and those women, man, and what they trying to do. So that was good.
Definitely
Um,
big time. Big time.
yeah. So definitely wanted to talk about the WNBA, man, because that's just one of the hot topics nowadays. Next thing, man, we talk about we in the spring and summer travel ball season. We're going into summer, just finished spring travel ball, and so I wanted to talk about some things that I've noticed, and I know you was out there this past weekend.
This
This
past
past
weekend.
weekend, Coach Garrett finally got you out there. I was happy to see the picture of you out there with them kids. I said, okay, my boy finally got out there, got him a taste of that summer ball, so that's good, man. But some things that I've noticed, and this is stuff that's happened for years, but a lot of team hopping. Kids seem to be, unsure about where they want to stick. I don't know if it's a loyalty thing or, maybe, they just not doing their research prior, which brings me to my next point of, parents and players not doing thorough research on organizations, teams, and coaches, which could lead to a lot of the flip flopping that they're doing as far as being on one team one week, another team the next week. And then, unrealistic expectations. They may be expecting some things or may have got told some things that weren't true, from a certain organization. And so not everybody does that, but it is some out here that's being dishonest to people and not telling them the truth. And so, but let's address the team hopping, man. Why do you think what are some reasons why you think that goes on in this time of year?
Definitely, man. I think team hopping is always going to be a thing at AAU just because summer ball is where a lot of those kids get to be a little bit of selfish. They get to pick and choose where they want to play. They get to, they got options at that point. And sometimes, like every coach, you selling your program, you selling your team, and you telling people what they want to hear sometimes, and then other times it's just misunderstood. But I definitely I don't the team hopping don't bother me unless you playing for shoe teams and you crossing the line going back and forth. I think that's a little different, but um, definitely, man. The part of hopping that I don't like is when they running away from correction, when they running away from a coach telling them, "Hey, you got to get better at this, you got to get better at that," rather than wanting to play for somebody who's gonna tell them what they want to hear. So I see that a little bit, but um, it's just that it's part of it. It's where they can be a little selfish and say, "I want to play for a program where I can do this," and that's
So let
probably that's the only time they really get to do that. Now I do think, like you said, I don't think people doing their research. That's where they missing their mark too. Where AAU now is kind of like a little mini college, so you kind of get to learn about a coach, learn about an organization, learn about what they doing with their players, what they doing with their team, what they doing with those previous group of guys, and you get to kind of, you know, like if I'm gonna pick a college, I'm gonna do my research, I'm gonna do my homework, find out what type of coach I'm playing for, and that way I'm not going in blind and I know what's going on. But those people ain't doing that. They trying to take the first thing that they think is the best, and then they gonna figure the rest out later. So you gonna see them hop and move for sure.
So let me ask you this about team hopping before we move on. I know we're gonna talk about recruiting, summer and spring recruiting. With you being a former college coach at Williams Baptist for 5 years, and so I want to ask you this: does AAU team hopping affect with everything going on with this portal? Does that affect a coach's ability to want to recruit a kid, or does that make that kid look different in that coach's eyes if they're hopping from team to team for whatever reason? The coach not gonna know the reason, but for whatever reason, does that taint that kid's stop in that coach's eyes? Because now with the portal, the transfer portal, that coach is gonna be thinking, well, your junior, your 10th grade, your sophomore summer, your junior summer, you play for 7 teams total those 2 summers. Like, how do I know that if I get you in the fold here in my institution and my program that you're not going to jump ship because for whatever reason, the various reasons that people decide to move on. So do you think that can be something that can affect these young men recruitment by jumping ship from team to team?
I think like everything else, um, I mean, you touched on kind of, doing your homework. It's the same thing as a coach. You got to do your homework and find out why they may be moving to where they're moving to. You know what I mean? And obviously, if they bashing the coach or, you know, bashing other people, then that's where it become a problem. And you as a coach, you're gonna look at it and say, I think I can deal with that kid, or I think I can't. But if they moving because of, hey, I got a better chance to win. Um, this is my original team. It's just a lot that go into the situation. So I don't think it hurts their recruitment to an extent. You know what I mean? Because coaches like to recruit who they know. Like I recruited from who I knew. I recruit from coaches that I trust. That's gonna build their kids up and teach them the right way. So if you cross one of my coaches that I know and I got a good relationship with, I may not touch you because I know that coach and I know what he putting into his kids and I know how he coaching. And if you can't handle his coaching, then you might not be able to handle ours. So like everything, you got to do your homework on them and try to figure out why they may be doing. But I wasn't keeping up with how many teams they played with in the summertime. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I was recruiting from programs and people that I knew, so I was willing to, if if I can make that call, hey, what you got for me? What they looking like? What you think about this kid? And if they said, man, that kid left me in the middle of this tournament or did this in the middle of a game, nah, I don't want that kid. I don't. But obviously, if they move a little bit and end up better situations, sometimes that may be the only time they get to play in front of me. So if I'm moving, I may only be going to Adidas tournaments or Nike or EYBL or whatever. So the wherever I get the chance to see the kid, I got to take it at face value. But then, like everything, you got to do your homework, find out who they are as people before as long as who they are as players.
So we'll get more into the doing the homework from a coaching standpoint when we talk about recruiting. But as far as, from the parents and the players themselves, when they research these organizations and they, research these teams and they research the coaches that may be coaching them, what are, if you had a kid, well, you do have a son, you have two kids, and, when Sonny, I know you will put that ball in his hand. So whenever, Sonny get of age, what are some things that research wise that you plan to look up on, the organization, the teams, and the coaches in order to make sure that y'all putting yourselves in the right situation?
Man, I want to play for somebody who's going to coach my kid. That's going to teach him how to play the game the right way. I do want somebody to be transparent if they got other agendas and other things they trying to get done. I want to be around somebody, around an organization that's going to be real with me and tell me where we stand. Because I'm not the type to want to move my child multiple times. Because I think my child will be missing the lessons if I let him move 3-4 times to 3-4 different teams. Then I think he missing what he's supposed to get, because that'd be me getting in the way of God's plan. So I just feel like if I'm looking for a coach that's gonna coach my kid up, that's gonna teach him how to play the game the right way, and if adversity come with that, I'm willing to live with it. If my child's got to learn he the eighth man in the rotation and he's almost on his way out and on his way in, he's got to learn how to fight for that playing time. He's got to learn how to handle that adversity. He's got to learn how to be a great teammate still in the midst of all of that. And when he get his opportunities, I want him to learn to take advantage of them. The biggest thing for me is just, making sure that I'm with somebody who gonna be honest and transparent, and that can actually coach. That's gonna coach my kid up and not just let him play, just let him hoop. I don't think that's good for every kid, but I definitely wouldn't want my kid to just be out there hooping. You know what I mean? Just, at times, I do think it's good where you just hoop. If you got great players, you gotta let great players just do their thing. But still, great players need to learn how to do things the right way and be, efficient. So
Yeah,
that's
gotcha.
definitely what I'm looking for.
Gotcha. So let's jump, since we talking about this. Let's jump into the recruiting part of it. Like I said earlier, I want everybody watching and listening to understand that you have been a collegiate coach for 5 years at Williams Baptist over there with Coach Allen. Coach Allen, what's up, man?
Coach Austin.
Oh, Coach Austin, my bad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Coach
Nah,
Austin.
you good. Yeah.
Coach Austin, what's up? I know he gonna be tapped in and locked into us. And so, how let's break down, for some parents that may not know, and even some kids that may not know how the recruiting process works. How do kids go from, just being on your radar to you watching them play to you giving them an offer? What are the steps and phases that go into that?
So I definitely don't want to speak for every college coach when I say that, but I'm a speak from my
Yeah,
preference
for
and
sure,
what
for sure.
and how I wanted to do things and how I was looking at recruiting. Like I said in the beginning, I like to recruit coaches that I trust. I love talent. Talent always help you win ball games, but um, it's a certain level of toughness that come with what we do at that level. So I once I get with a coach that I trust, I can recruit that same program multiple times because I trust that coach. Um, so first and foremost, for me, I I, I want to tell if it's any student athletes that's listening, or parents, try not to bash or double cross coaches, because the college coaches sometimes got better relationship with those people than they do with the actual kid. And if you crossing coaches, that may get you crossed off the list. So, but definitely around 10th grade, putting eyes on people. I wasn't too concerned with putting the offer out there, but I was gonna put eyes on, those programs that was doing things the right way, that was, uh, teaching their kids how to play, get them to defend, and getting them to play hard. That was representing the state well. So I was definitely looking at them around the 10th grade, and around the 11th grade. If we threw an offer out there, sometimes it was blanket. It was just us doing it as a formality. It was like hey, you're close. But at that point is where we start evaluating. So I think so many people are so anxious about offers, but the thing that comes with those offers is a lot of evaluating. That's when you become. I go from recruiting. I go from just, hey, I'm just looking at this kid, to once that offer get out there. Now I'm looking at, oh, that kid can't go left. That kid can't shoot a pull up jump shot. That kid, every time he go right, he do this move. So to just take some time, continue working on your game, because when those offers start rolling in, once you get on everybody's radar, then you under a certain scrutiny that come with that too. But about 11th grade, if we made an offer, it was blanket, and then we like to recruit that state tournament, so we would definitely get out during that state tournament time, and we want to recruit winners. I don't like people who lose. Genuinely, a lot of them don't make it in college, so. I want to recruit kids who gonna win, because they know what it's like to go through the thick of some stuff and
Yeah.
handle a little adversity and continue to keep pushing. And then most of the time they've been coached up pretty well. So um, I definitely, that was my process for it. Like I say, around 10th grade, I'm gonna put eyes on those programs that I'm good relationships with. Around 11th grade, if we made an offer, it was blank. It was just us doing it to say, hey, we putting offers out there, you know what I mean, for
Yeah.
our administration. But at that level, and that was at the NAI level, we wasn't, you know, offering too many kids at that level like that. So
Yeah, yeah, and for our for our audience, I do plan on having some other high major, high major, low major, mid major assistant coaches, head coaches possibly on here to maybe speak to more of what they do at that level. Like Malcolm said, he can only really attest to what he did and what they was able to do for NAIA. But I also want to have some junior college guys on, some low major, mid major, and then Power Five. And so any of y'all that want to come jump on the pod, man, that's watching, hit me up, and we'll get you on and let you talk about yourself, your program, and how you go about your recruiting, just so we can get this knowledge out here. So a couple things I want to go back to with what you said, just so we can make sure that we're not talking over anybody's head. When you say blanket offer, was that what they consider a non-committable offer?
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah. It's just
it's just a format. We just letting you know we interested. We letting our administration know, hey, we doing our job by offering some kids. But at this moment, we're still recruiting. So if a kid wanted to try to commit off a blanket offer, how would that conversation go?
so. And most times when if it is one of those offers that mean nothing, the kid will know.
Okay.
The kid will know, hey, we want to offer you an opportunity to be a part of the program, but we want to see X, Y, and Z. So we may even come out then at that point and start pointing out the things that we want to see that kid improve on, just to see if they got it in them to go back to the drawing board and work on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So the kid will know. Now they still post them on social media and still, use it as publicity, because obviously once one school offered, some schools just jump on the train and start
Yeah,
offering
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So
It's copycat,
uh,
copycat
yeah,
thing, man. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So they still post it, but they will know. They will, it's rare. At least I've never done. I've never made an offer to the kid that was blank and didn't tell the kid it wasn't blank. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think in most cases they know, or either they may be so excited they just didn't quite understand. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they definitely that'll be a conversation that's part of it when those offers and scholarships and things like that go out.
Got you. And so essentially, you know, once you put that blanket offer out there, based on what you just said, you tell me if I'm interpreting this right. Like I said, I want to make sure that we breaking this down for maybe the moms that may watch, or the dads that may watch, or the players that don't really know. I know other coaches would know, but we may have other people, moms, dads, players that may not know. So basically, once you offer that kid, everything else you're watching is essentially, now you're breaking down their games fully.
Yes.
What you can do, because obviously if you like them and you've offered them, you've seen what they can do. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's about what you can't do, and how much of what you can't do can we tolerate that can fit into our system. And then, like you said, letting them know what they need to do in order to improve and get better. And if they do those things, then they'll keep that offer. But if they don't do those things, then when they get ready to commit or whatever, that offer may or may not be there, you know, just depending on what y'all think as a coach, correct?
Yes, yes. So definitely, and it could be a lot of things that factor to that equation. So some blank offers may be, at at an NAI level. Well, I don't get 9 full scholarships to give out. I don't get 13 full scholarships or anything like that. So I'm at well, Williams Baptist did, and I'll say that I won't speak for every NAI because some of them are well funded, but
Mm-hmm.
um if I'm making an offer to a kid, I may tell a kid to work on certain things that I think will fit our level. So, like, it's been plenty of guards that I like that I didn't think shot the three very well. Well, on the collegiate level, shooting the three is like extremely important. So, I may be offering this kid a partial scholarship because I don't think he can shoot it that well. But then if he comes back and he works on his game and proves to me that he can shoot it, he's still gonna have to come in and do it on a different line, against different speed, against different athleticism. But if they work on those things, that partial scholarship may increase to a full, or you know what I mean? It just
Mm-hmm.
depends. It's a
Yeah.
lot of things that factor into it. So, but yeah, at that point, you want to let things know. I like this kid, or it may be different things. I may like multiple kids, so I might, definitely you want to be picky with certain positions. I'm picky with the point guard positions. I might like multiple point guards, um, and I might not be able to get the one that I truly like, so I might put a blanket offer out there to my next option if I don't get that big one. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot. It's a lot that go into it. I know that ain't what people want to hear, but sometimes it's just a harsh reality.
I mean, and that's that's one reason why we wanted to start this, man. I feel like, with you being a college guy that is, played at the collegiate level, coached at the collegiate level, and then, come down to high school and junior high, so I feel like, those little nuggets is what they need to know, because if they don't hear them from us, if they don't hear the truth from us, with your experiences, then they may not ever hear from anybody. So it's always good to put that info out there so that they can at least have the foresight to ask these questions. When they
hmm
do get offers, they can ask, is it a blanket offer? Because I heard Malcolm talking about blanket offers. So I want to know, can I commit right now if I want to, or is this just a blanket offer? If it is, then I know I got work to still do. So what I
hmm
need to work on. And so I'm definitely, like you said, it may not be what they want to hear, but it's something that it's good nuggets to provide, families and individuals, for them to have and be able to understand the process, and so that's one thing that I wanted to do. So, man, I appreciate you for your expertise on that. Moving on to the next topic. Man, I want to talk about Arkansas basketball, and like I said, I know you've kind of become an Arkansas fan by default. You've been in the state for 10 years now, and so we talk about them a lot. Me and you do. We during the season when they playing, whether they doing good, bad, or whatever. We know Muss has some success, but I wanted to talk about Coach Cal in particular, not necessarily the roster that he's put together, but his strategy. the strategy that he's come up with for how he wants to move forward with this whole transfer portal NIL situation that's in college that is taking over college basketball. And so for the people that don't know, just to give y'all a little background, Coach Cal did an interview and he talked about, his plan or what he would like to try to do with this new situation. And so he wants to have about 8 to 9 paid NIL players. And then the rest of the roster, which is he has 9, he'll have 4 more scholarships. The rest of the roster will be essentially filled with walk-ons that would be scholarship guys. Now I'm not knowing how good these players will be. I don't know. That's Coach Cal's job to figure out. But this is his strategy. And so he also mentioned that he wanted to look into using overseas players, getting maybe retired overseas players that maybe not like 10 years retired, but maybe just finished playing overseas a year ago, 6 months ago, and now they done playing, and now he wants to get those guys in there to be graduate assistants to play against and practice against those 8 or 9 scholarship players. And his whole reason for doing this was he said he didn't want to get those last 5-4 spots when you playing a 7, 8, 9 man rotation, they probably not gonna get in, and it's a 95% chance that they're gonna leave and transfer. And so he doesn't want to prepare those guys and get them prepared to go elsewhere. And so that's why he's sticking with his 8 or 9. And he also mentioned that those walk-ons that would be scholarship guys could earn NIL later on, but initially they wouldn't be making anything. And so, like I say, depending on who he's trying to get, I feel like this can be a creative way. I feel like this was a good idea. When I heard it, I was like, okay, Cal, on to something, It has its pros and cons, like if a kid gets injured, a couple players get injured, they go down, now your 9-man team is down to 7, and it's hard to function with 7. And then now those 4 walk-on / scholarship players that you depending on, depending on how good they are, they got to step into a role and contribute, and they may not be ready. So those are some of the things that come with it. But I think, Cal may have cracked a little cheat code with this, if it works, because, we all know he's a forward-thinking guy. He was one of the ones, that was all in on one and dones and things of that nature before everybody. And so, that worked out for him. He was able to win a championship doing that. And so I feel like, this is a good idea because, like I say, you are going to lose those bottom 4 or 5 guys if they're not playing. They're going to want to go somewhere else where they're going to be able to play. But if you already have had that stuff communicated that they can earn whatever and then move forward. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Man, I definitely think those bottom 4. It's crazy we talking about full scholarship guys like they ain't like they're the new walk-ons or something. Or at least that's how Cal making it seem. But man, I think those four guys are still gonna be important. They're still gonna be pivotal, like you said. If somebody get hurt, it's gonna have to be somebody that's gonna be that's capable of stepping in and possibly helping. I think you can play with 7-man rotation, maybe 8. You know what I mean? That may be cutting it a little close, but I like the idea. I like the idea of having some professional guys in. I think one of the NCAA uh uh I don't know how I'm trying to word it. Like one of the NCAA monster that they running into is, a lot of these kids or a lot of players are looking for that professional athlete feel, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
the game is just so different on the college level, on the professional level, that some of those guys that's why you're seeing them go to those other places and try to become a pro right away
Yeah.
out of high school. So I think getting that opportunity to practice against pros would be huge. That would be huge to practice against a pro or to work out with a pro. Somebody who's going to, because if they coming in and they fresh out being professional, they probably still going to be training. They probably still going to be working out. They probably still be getting in the gym. That's big to have somebody like that showing your kids the ropes so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What that can do for a kid's work ethic to not only like, hey, I got to get in the gym and work, and I got somebody to do it with, but you get to see it done in live time. Like, you know what I mean? I got guys right now who are hungry to get in the gym, and they get in the gym all the time. But they get in there, and sometimes they don't know what to do. Like they looking for somebody to show
yeah,
them. And I think that'll be big. You got live bodies to get out there. This is what I do to work on my ball handle. All my workouts are still pretty simple. Still working on my fundamental. And then if I'm on hone in on a specific skill, a specific shot, here's how I do it. Here's how I know I'm gonna get this shot. Here's how I watch film to prepare for another team. You know what I mean? So all those
yeah,
things can take just a 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid's mindset to the next level,
yeah,
being around pros every day. So I think that's is genius by him for sure. And if it works out, it'll be considered genius. But then, if it don't work out, then everybody will call him crazy. But
yeah, yeah.
he
True, true.
definitely forward thinking with that, like you said, pros and cons to all of it.
And you even took it a different step than what I was thinking, because mostly for me, I was just thinking like, okay, it's gonna be cool for them to get up and down and be practicing against pros. But when you talk about just teaching them how to be pros, because even if they're overseas professionals, they still professionals. They still have a
Mm-hmm.
routine. They still have, like you said, training that they do. They still have all of those things. And so that's something that they can learn from, on top of the fact that, Cal, I've never heard one of Cal players say anything bad about him his entire time at Kentucky. I've never heard any of them say anything bad. They all those guys in the league, Cousins, Wall, they all swear by him. So, I've never heard any of them. So, they gonna come around and be around the program and come out there and hoop, compete, maybe show the kids the ropes and show them how to be pros also, because of their love for Cal. And so I feel like all of that stuff would be beneficial, man. But like I said, we weren't not gonna talk about the roster, even though I feel like I'll say this, with the addition of Brazil, if Cal can put it together, if he can put it together and get them guys to buy in, I think we got a Final Four squad, man, with the talent. I'm not gonna say natty. I'm not gonna disrespect UConn like that, because what them do, the way them guys have dominated the tournament the last 2 years, like literally dominated the tournament. I don't want to disrespect. I don't want to disrespect them, but I feel like we got an Elite Eight Final Four roster. It's just about putting it all together, getting those guys to buy in, the sacrifices they're gonna have to make, not letting how when you involve money, it can affect some things. So as long as
Mm-hmm.
the NIL, nobody's pocket watching or doing any of that, man, I feel like they got a chance to go Elite Eight Final Four for sure, man. With their talent, yeah, that get for Brazil was real big, and so that was just my feelings on that. But man, moving on, the nitty gritty tomorrow. NBA Finals. It's official. It's
Ooh.
here. NBA Finals, man. Celtics and Mavs, man. And we've gotten to this point. Mavs beat the Wolves in 5 games,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Pacers. The Celtics, they swept the Pacers, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they swept the Pacers. Halliburton got hurt, and they swept the Pacers. So, man, just want to kind of do a little dive into some personnel. Me personally, and then we'll give our predictions on who we think gonna win at the end and by, in how many games and so on and so forth. So, and I know I've talked to you about the Celtics, and I told you how I like Tatum, I like Brown, I like the Celtics team. But they hard to trust, because in some close games, when they have close games, they usually find a way to fumble the game and lose, versus them being able to play with a big lead. They usually coast and win, and so I get a little worried with them and the amount of threes they shoot, and which sometimes reminds me of that Houston Rockets team that shot like 27 threes in the game and missed every last one of them or something like that, that one year against Golden State. They kind of remind me of that sometimes. And so I'm worried, but at the same time, I feel like defensively, they have enough guys that they can throw at Luka and Kyrie, not to stop them, because you're not stopping those guys offensively. You're not. but to at least slow them down. And I think that Luka and Kyrie will they're going to have to go for 30 almost every night to be in the games, because the one game that Minnesota won, Kyrie had 16, Luka had 30 something, and they ended up losing, because of that. I felt it was because Kyrie didn't have 25 plus. And so I think if Tatum or Brown, doesn't have a good game, I think it's more than capable that, somebody like Porzingis, who coming back off of injury, will be able to step up. Derek White will step up. Drew Holiday,
Drew
he had a
Holiday,
good
yeah.
last couple games and scoring over 20 points. And those guys and I don't feel like Dallas has those role players that can go get them 20, 25, 30 points if one of their stars don't give it to them. And so, but on the other end of things, man, man, listen, watching Luka and Kyrie navigate this thing and play off each other and try to defend, like watching Luka actually out there giving effort on defense, like, listen, took me by surprise, and they showed me a lot in that Wolves series. Now the Wolves didn't do some smart things. They didn't make some adjustments, that I thought maybe they should have made, and we kind of talked about, them not not sitting Rudy for long periods of time, which we probably felt like they should have, and move Cat down maybe to the post more and let him play more around the basket and things of that nature. But those two dudes are unstoppable, man. They are. And like, you got two guys that can go get you 60 points between the two of them, 60, 70 points. That's tough. You just need your role players to give you something, and it's gonna be tough. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. We can go a little more in depth on what we think, but I want to hear what you got to say about both teams.
Yeah, definitely. I think Boston the favorite. Um, they definitely won. They gonna have home court advantage and everything. They proven that they can do it. They won a whole lot of games. I think, man, they gonna be fun to watch in this finals because they're a little bit more mature than they was the first time around. Um, so I definitely think they're gonna be the favorite. With Porzingis come back, that give them another element that was sweeping teams without. You know what I mean? So that's crazy to even think that they got, like you say, they got enough pieces to where if they main guys ain't doing so great, and Porzingis is one of their main guys, he wasn't even there, and they could fill that role and kind of be a little bit better. Um, in the Indiana series, I saw points and pieces where they missed him, not even offensively. I'm just talking about straight defensively, where he's gonna change some shots at the rim and things like that. Indiana plays so fast, they push that ball down the floor, and they got to their spots quick. They made their decisions. They were really connected on the offensive end, and they were dynamic. They was real fast with it. I thought they missed somebody at the rim to protect them. It was points in that first couple games where I just watched Indiana just shoot layup after layup after layup after layup, and I'm just like, goodness, like, are they playing any defense? But I think that was the whole of Porzingis being missed. So with him coming back, if he's 100% healthy and can play, they're gonna be the favorite. Um, and then on the Mavs side, they just dynamic. They got those two guys who can go get it, and then I think they got good glue guys. I think Gafford is huge. Lively is huge. I think both of them be
Shout out to Gafford, man. Arkansas,
man.
stand up. Shout out to Gafford, man.
Both of them were huge for him. And then you add in your Derrick Jones Jr., who's been playing pretty good, shooting that three pretty well, been defending every other team's best player. So I imagine he gonna take on the Tatum or Brown and or and then PJ Washington will be and or Tatum and Brown, and he's been shooting the three well too. He actually hit one of them threes to win them a game. So that team is just so dynamic. They got them two guards, so it's definitely gonna be a fun series to watch. And I think I'm rolling with the underdog, though. I'm going with the Mavs. I'm going with the Mavs.
Mavs and what? Talk to me. Mavs and
Ma-
what?
Mavs and six. Mavs and six. I just,
Oh, ho, ho, ho. You
and
think?
I might be being nice. I ain't. It ain't going to a game seven. It ain't
Okay,
going to a
okay,
game seven.
okay.
So
So since you threw your predictions out there, I'm gonna throw mine. Like I said, I worry about the Celtics, but I just feel like you said, their experience being there before, they've been to the last what they've been to 6. That core has been to what 5 or 6 Western Conference Finals. I feel like it's that year. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm.
don't. Jaylen Brown has stepped his game up, and he's earned every bit of that 300 million. I don't care that man can't dribble with his left hand. He's earned every bit of that $300 million. And Jaylen Brown, man, if you ever see this, man, I'm joking. We just always mess with you because every time he go that right to left crossover, he lose that ball when they touch that left hand. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
he's earned every bit. He's looked like the guy. You know, he's looked
Yes.
like the $300 million guy, and he's earned
Yes.
that money, man. And I think as long as he can keep that up with the confidence he playing with, Tatum came along more, and then getting Porzingis back. Um, what worries me, and I I'll say what worries me, but then again, I guess it really doesn't because at this point of the season, you playing 5, 6 guys now anyway, you know. So I looked at Boston bench. I looked at their last box score and looking at their bench. You got Pritchard that comes off the bench, which he's a bona fide shooter. You got Tillman. You know, I think Tillman will play a whole lot more this series to kind of, you know, until Porzingis, especially the first few games, until Porzingis is able to get back into the swing of things. And so I think as long as they stay healthy, if both teams stay healthy, all things equal, you know, I think Boston will win. And because I don't trust Boston all the time because of some of the silly stuff they do late in close games, I think they'll lose a couple close games. But I think they'll lose maybe one close game because of that. So I'll go. I'm not gonna disrespect the Mavs. They earned my respect the last series. So I'm gonna go Boston in 7. I'm gonna go Boston in 7. Now
Yeah.
I think it could easily be Boston in 5. I think they could run off on the Mavs. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just because I feel like they can wear down Kyrie and they can wear down Luka with those 4 defenders. You know, you got Brown, Tatum, both them dudes 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". You got Derrick Jones 6'5", 6'6". You got Drew Holiday, one of the best. If you ask these guards in the league, Drew Holiday is that defender. You know, they all say that. And so, you know, you got those 4 guys rotating on you, and then you got Al Horford, who at 37, 37 is still capable of switching out there. Now I don't know how much he gonna be able to do with Kyrie switching, but I
Mm-hmm.
think more so he could probably switch on Luka because Luka he's a more slower pace guy. But you know, but I also think, man, Kyrie got something to prove, man. And I want to say this on here, man. A lot of people owe that dude an apology, man. A lot
For
of
sure.
people owe that dude an apology. Um, I admire Kyrie and you know some of the stances he took. Um, you know, and things of that nature, just because, you know, he stood for what he stood for. He didn't let anybody change his mind. And that's hard when you're getting peer pressure and you're losing millions. So I commend him for standing 10 toes down on what he believed in. And now, you know, people act like he didn't love basketball just because, you know, he chose not to do certain things. And I never thought that had anything to do with it, you know, because when he played for Brooklyn, he was out there balling. Whenever he wasn't hurt or KD wasn't hurt or Harden wasn't hurt or Ben Simmons, whatever was wrong with him, you know, when they played together, you know, they played good. And so I want to see Kyrie. I do want to see Kyrie get another one just so he can shut up all the haters. But I feel like it's time for Tatum and Brown to go ahead and put the world on notice for the next few seasons that this they league. You know, despite all the attention that all these other guys getting, it's their league and it's gonna be their league for the next few years with them entering into their primes. You know, because they what 25, 20, are they even that old? 26, 27 maybe?
Yeah, yeah. That Tatum is 24, 25. Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
they just now, you know, entering in their prime, you know, anywhere from 25 to 27. So yeah, man, but I got Boston in 7, man. I got Boston in 7, but I think they could finish it earlier, you know, if possible. So um Trying to think. Okay, coaching. Let's talk about the coaching matchup because we both coaches. So got J Kidd versus Joe Mazzulla. I think I pronounced his name right. I hope I did. So we all know, J Kidd played the game, the NBA game at a very high level. One of the smartest, best point guards, and he's looked like one of the best coaches this playoffs. He's outcoached a lot of guys that was across from him, especially in the last series. He coached circles around. Well, him and his staff coached circles around the Timberwolves. Um, so what do you think about the coaching matchup? And Mazzulla, I ain't gonna do Mazzulla like that. Old West Virginia point guard. Was on Brad Stevens' staff and waited his turn. Well, now I take that back. Not Brad Stevens, Udoka, Udoka staff. Unfortunate stuff that happened with Udoka that forced him to be the guy in that first chair. And we all know, how that is, how different that is from going to be an assistant to jumping in that main seat, man. It's totally different when you the guy. And so, what you think about the coaching matchup?
Man, I love both of them. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how both of them do. I think both coaching staffs, both head coaches are proving they can make adjustments. They willing to do that and not gonna get hit in the head with the same thing and just keep letting it happen. I think I like the flow of what the Mavs does better than I like the flow of what Boston does. Boston a little wild at times for me. They still not, you know. I still think Tatum and Brown got a little figuring out to do, but it's probably gonna be that way for the rest of their career because they both just so dynamic that they can go get it at any point. And
Mm-hmm.
I see the Mavs on the other end of that token. I think they got it figured out. And maybe because it's a little bit more clear cut on who's the number one option, but Luka and Kyrie's accepted. He's giving Luka that it's your team, it's your reign. You take us where you want us to go. But if ever you need me and when you need me, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think credit to both of them coaching staffs for getting those people to buy into it because they probably make more money than you, but they still listen to what you got to say, and that's huge. But when you watch the Mavs play, you see that. You see if Luka can't carry a load, can't do something, you see Kyrie turn it on and go to another level. So, and then you see on the other end, Boston just so dynamic. You just don't know who's gonna be the guy for the night. It's gonna be at least two of them, but they got four guys over there that can get you 25 to 30.
yeah,
In Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Porzingis. That's four guys who can go get it. And as an opposing coach, you just kind of got to prep for it all, but you don't know which two of those guys gonna be the ones pouring it in, or if all four of them pouring it in. So, I love both of them coaching staffs. I think they both do what they do at a high level. So I'm gonna be watching that battle for sure. To see who gonna make the most adjustments and make the best adjustments to what they need for their team to win.
yeah. I'm gonna try not to miss a game. My plan. I'm gonna tell you this because I know we talked about Wednesdays and Fridays during the pod, and I want to stick with that. But my plan, depending on, I don't think it'll ever be like a real late game because Dallas is not, they Central Time, so we don't have to worry about the games being too late. So I would like to maybe jump on the YouTube live for a few minutes after a game and maybe talk about it, if you're available or whatever.
Hmm.
So that's something that I was thinking about, and I'm just saying this on here live. I'm just saying this on here on live so we can, make sure that the people know that, so they can come tap into us after a game, give our thoughts, things of that nature, what we think adjustments may need to be made. Just talk some basketball, man, like we would be if we was on the phone watching the game anyway. So just get on here and
Hmm.
do it. And so, um, yeah, I definitely, that's something definitely that I want to do after every game. So, if you available for it and can jump on, man, feel free. If not, I'll get with a couple more of my other guys, other partners or whatever that want to get on there and talk some ball if you can't. But that's my idea for that, man. But anything you got anything else you want to add, man? Any shout outs, anything you want to say to anybody, man? Give out, any shout outs, anything like that?
No, man, I'm just glad to be back. Man. I'm glad we got this thing back rolling. Definitely want to, shout out to anybody that's supporting us and continue to listen to what we doing. You know what I mean? Trying to put as much knowledge out there as we can. Uh, and if anybody wants to join, like Coach said, man, hit us up. Slide in our inbox. Let us know you want to be a part of it, and come on here and we can talk some ball. So, definitely shout out to all the supporters and thank y'all. And we appreciate it.
Definitely, man. Well, that concludes this episode. Straight Hoopin' Podcast, man. We back in this thing, back in full effect. We gonna try to keep it rolling. You know, both of us busy guys, but we gonna try to keep this thing rolling and have some consistency with it. 'Cause I know a lot of people when we stopped, a lot of people asked if we was gonna start back and was looking for,
Mm-hmm.
the pod and the interviews and different things of that nature. So if we got anybody, that want to get interviewed, any coaches, any collegiate players, professional players, I got some guys from around Arkansas that I'm gonna reach out to. There's some professionals and some coaches that I know at different levels and try to get them on for interviews. But that concludes the episode for today, man. Want to appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. Me and Coach Malcom with the Straight Hoopin' Podcast, and like I say, man, we'll be back. We'll be back on Friday, and probably tomorrow night after game one of the NBA Finals, just to kind of talk about that. So if we have anybody that want to jump on then with us live on YouTube and talk about the NBA Finals, we'll be on there doing that tomorrow after the game. So we'd love to have y'all, man. Jump on. And like I say, man, we back. We back in this thing. So we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us, man. It's a Straight Hoopin' Podcast. You got your boy Coach Ant, your boy Stan Malcolm. Like I say, we'll be back, man. Y'all stay tuned. Peace.